Alright, this is my second take recording the video. I did it first, but I was using the wrong mic. So, start off right, up 500 on the day, so not quite 2R, but it is what it is. This is the eval down here. You can see it's passed now. So this is going to be a funded account, a fresh one after today. And then these two are up almost 1,000 from starting balance, so a lot closer to buffer. And now we're going to go over the trades. Alright, then to start off the day, it was a little bit tricky because we had SMT on both sides of the market. So we had SMT with Friday's low as YM took that out in Asia session, and SMT with a previous day high, which NQ took out in Asia session, I believe, and YM has still not taken out. And I didn't really use the 4-hour like I did, but I didn't see anything, so most of my profiling was just using the 1-hour chart. So right at the time, this is Friday's low, but SMT here at the open, Sunday open. SMT here, and what I was seeing basically was right, NQ is coming back to the London low, and at the moment YM was sitting kind of high in the range. So what I wanted to see was basically this. I want to see a strength switch to go higher. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't think I really had a reason. So we have this SMT with the previous day high. Why the fuck is this over here? Over here is really spaced out. It's kind of like advanced premium discount, but we're not really expanding away. So I wanted to basically see some kind of higher resistance be created. So I didn't have a super strong bias, really, but I wanted to see something like this ideally. Otherwise, if NQ did expand through it, then I could just trade a lagging asset later. And on the 30-minute, we created this gap, which I wanted to trade out of for a positional entry. But the 9 o'clock 30-minute candle before the open did not use it at all. We actually hit this London low on NQ and on YM. Right? But a little strange, on ES, we didn't. And you can see YM is closing a bullish candle. So it's kind of like a strength switch PSP. So the longs at open could make sense. It's just that without NQ actually taking this low, I wouldn't really trust it because it's not really ready. So what happened at the open was this first candle, not that big, but it's a bearish candle, obviously. Kind of a failure to manipulate this low right here, right? Because we're not expanding away, right? We have like one big candle away, then we consolidate, sweep out that high, and then drop. On ES, we actually come into the gap, and on YM, we're all the way up here. So we took out all these highs from before. So what we have is SMT up here, which is very spaced out. If you draw out your Fibonacci from this low, and then we have the high from there. So we have NQ below equilibrium in a discount, while ES is in a gap, and YM is above highs. While we have this 3-minute change of state delivery, I am bearish and willing to sell that to make a new low day. Right, which is exactly what I did. All right, so here I set the limit. It's not quite at the CSD, but it is more or less around that area. This setup is a really small range trade. It doesn't really look that high probability if you look at it, but it does tend to work out a decent amount of the time. And right, I'm kind of, it's like the only anticipatable move I can take. I can't really catch longs. So I want to trade the manipulation of the open, which is definitely risky, but it was valid to me. And obviously, so I'm in a gold trade. I'll go over that later. But yeah, I got tagged in. Yeah, we went pretty far, then we came back. Otherwise, I would have just been okay missing it. So here we're in, and then we're in for like, like 12 minutes, something like that. And then here it didn't really matter, but just because I'm trading the decoupled asset, the one that I think is manipulating, so I'm not sure how much is going to manipulate this low buy. So I actually make my TP smaller, right where the low is, instead of extending it, and then I reduce my stop loss. But now I'm under risk by like 0.7 micro, so I could have technically had 6 on, but it is what it is. I could have also held this out because it was a pretty big dump down, but that's kind of how it ended up. Which, I mean, it's only like $100 difference, so it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, we messed around for a little bit, and then I think it's a little bit later. Right, I don't know what happened, but we had this massive spike. Right, NQ made a low day, and ES. Ended up taking this London low for a little SMT break. All right, and then we started V-shaping away. I'd probably still say long, but I don't know. It's looking pretty messy. I think you had a decent V-shape, and now it's kind of just ranging, so I might make a new low. YM also just looks like shit. And even though you just saw the executions, here they are again. I'm not sure why I deleted the position tool, but yeah. Sell here, get out here. Could have held it down here or here, but it's fine. So that's the NQ trade. That's pretty much all of it. Right, just kind of finding close proximity draws, and that's my bias really. Profiling, there's not really a profile. I mean, if anything, it's like open high, you can say low, or delay protraction since I was bullish. So yeah, basically just failure to manipulate this low, advanced premium discount, and that's pretty much all there is to it. So now we're gonna go over the gold trade, which I ended up getting out at break even just because because I won the indices trade. But I was in the gold trade before indices actually, so all right, start out the day. XAU GBP took out previous day low, and when I come to the charts, we're making a really deep retracement, so I think we're gonna make a new low. I think even at the time Euro was also looking pretty convincing, and what really convinced me was because on the 1 hour, see this 6 o'clock high? This is a swing point, right? It's swing high. There's no, it's the highest point between these three candles. It gets taken out on gold, but on Euro and GBP, we leave this failure swing. And that actually turns out to be a 90-minute sequential SMT. But it's not just a sequential SMT because this 6 o'clock candle is bearish here, and on gold, it is bullish here. So it's actually a 90-minute two-stage PSP. And right after making that sweep, we V-shape away, the change state delivery, and then we make a retracement, and we go around equilibrium, so that's a very nice size retracement, and then we CSD back through it. So at that point, I'm getting in after the CSD, but I use the 3-minute, and I get a really bad fill. So I had to like one extra contract to get a little bit better, but when I got in, it was like, I like market entered somewhere like really low. Yeah, because I was gonna have a limit on this. I'm like, I'm just gonna get in because I think it was like 2 times last week I got left on gold because I just like set a limit. But yeah, this is like a really bad fill. But obviously I de-risked a little bit, so now it's like the same risk either way. And yeah, my stop loss here is 99 ticks, and I had to weather this retracement, which from 7909.8. Yeah, so I basically sold the low, and then we made a big ass retracement. This came up 91 ticks, so within 8 ticks of my stop loss, which was at these bodies right here from the opposing candles. And then we finally CSD lower. I just put 1 contract on here at the limit. Got my fill a little bit better, reduced my stop loss to here. And yeah, I just moved this around. Okay, that's probably why. But yeah, I just got out here, which is basically break even because I feel like at the time, I got in gold at 903, which is way before the open. And then I just won the NQ trade, and I was like, all right, I'm up 500. If this wins, this could be like a really nice trade for me. But I was like, I don't want to give back any profits, and it was kind of just like jerking around. At the time, we came really close to, I think my alert went off, but we came really close to the lows I was aiming for. Asia low. Then we just reject off of it, and because I'm bullish on indices, I don't really know if I trust it. I kind of think it might actually trade away from it. Same thing on XAU Euro. We just get close, edge it, and come back up. So I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna get out at break even, which, let's see, kind of checking the PnL. And then I just decide to get out up a little bit. And my plan with the gold, because it was like the strongest, I was gonna probably just TP at 2R instead of Asia low, because if it is bullish, it's gonna probably reverse from this SMT. And I don't know where my original position was at. I think it was like 10 something. The stop was up here, so 2R would be here. So maybe it'll hit it, maybe it won't. Yeah, if I let this run, then it'd be like a $1,100 day, but that's not how I trade gold and indices. I don't take both and then try to get like stack 2 wins in one day. I take whichever one is the highest probability. It's just that gold offered the setup before indices did. Because gold didn't have a single gap, which maybe is the reason not to take the trade. Which also I forgot to mention, we had a 15-minute two-stage, so to actually get in, it wasn't just a random retracement on like it was a nice set of opposing candles on gold, but that's not all it was. So on this retracement here on gold, it actually takes out a high on the 15-minute. It's actually the 30-minute high. So, all right, the 8:30 candle closes here, and I'm getting in like a little bit after 9, and XAU GBP takes out this 8:30 high on the 30-minute, whereas gold leaves that high as a failure swing. So that's a strength switch after this two-stage 90-minute PSP. So that's why it entered. You can see we swept it like right here at 9 o'clock, and then we see a C lower, V shape on XAU GBP, and on gold, we leave that failure swing with this high is up here technically. You could use this one, but it's definitely this high. And then we see his D. So I get in there on a 3-minute with obviously the bad fill, and in silver I was looking at it the same with this small opposing candle because the SMT is created here with this move up, and on the 1 minute it's a little bit better. Actually, on the 1 minute it's kind of like this, more bulky, so I get in, that's enough confluence for me. And then afterwards, it didn't really do much, but we had this secondary SMT, basically strength switching back to XAU GBP with the next candle after that, my entry, the 9 o'clock high gets swept out on gold, which is where that big ass retracement came from, and on GBP, it's a failure swing. But it looks like they both have hit this low now. And yeah, on gold, I'd either be probably just break even. I'll probably try to get 2R because this low, I'm probably not going to get it, but 2R, it's possible. But yeah, to be honest, I probably should not have even taken indices just because, one, it wasn't that high probability of a trade to end because I was already in gold. At the time, I was also in drawdown too, like all the way, because I took the CSD on indices, which is like right here. So I'd be drawn like by half already, so I should have just swayed out gold, but who knows. But yeah, that's the trade. Honestly, I think I'm going to go back to doing my live analysis because I feel like my recaps, I'm kind of forgetting a lot of things until like the last minute. So I'm going to go back to that. The videos might be a little bit longer, but I'll try to make the analysis not too long. But yeah, I didn't really journal everything. On gold, all I can say is that my fill is really shit. But yeah, so if it loses, I wouldn't actually be mad because there's not a reason for the reversal to form any higher, right? We already had the 90-minute two-stage, so nothing else to do. The 4 hours, not much besides the fact that at the time, GBP was like super close to the low. They all make the high at the same time. I don't think there's really any SMT at the high day. Right. Decent V-shape-ish. Doesn't look that good. Right. It's 90-minute. Then we have this failure swing. And then there's the entry time frame, which I have not taken a picture of yet. But it's pretty much all there is to it. And then also, I'm going to use Tradeify's journal because it's more accurate than Tradecopia. So overall, my win rate's been kind of pretty low, 33%. I'm still obviously profitable with the profit factor over 1. My risk reward, my winners are bigger than my losses. So this is before the channel started. Here, I had a crash out day, pretty much made it all back. Small losing day, and not a profitable week. This day I crashed out. Then this day, this is my first video on the channel. So this is my first one, I think, after hitting rock bottom or something. And then this one was the next video. And so I ended the week minus 400, but if you took out this day, I'd technically be up 600 on this week. So the first week was profitable on the channel, just not overall because this day messed it up. Last week, Tradecopia said I was profitable by like $80, but here I'm down 200, so that's fine. So you can see when my weeks are not profitable, I'm only down by like 200, though obviously the trailing drawdown is what really kills me. Because if it was static, it wouldn't be that big of a deal, but the drawdown is smaller. And last week, made 1,400, so that matches up with my journal of like 4.8R pretty much. All right, had a bad Monday. Every other day after that, we were killing it. And then just taking last week's stats, the win rate went up to 46%, profit factor of 2, so that's a lot more than before. So a very profitable week. Winners are 2.5 times bigger than my losses. I'm not sure why these are even so small, it's kind of weird. But yeah, and then you can see it's more accurate because on Friday I made like $230, whereas Tradecopia was trying to say that I was making like $500 from one account, which obviously I didn't. Today it's accurate with 529, as Tradeify probably won't update till the end of the day. But you can see here, I passed the account. It's already, because like it has a real-time dashboard, so now I can already activate it funded. You can see the clock counting down, so it's a regular website. And yeah, so I've been on these fundeds for like 3 weeks, which I mean, that's better than most people, but like a lot of it was spent in drawdown, so the real test is like now that I'm in profit, how long I can keep them. But the trailing drawdown is maxed out now, so I have a lot of room close to buffer. Hopefully get some payouts on these. We have a fresh funded coming in too, so yeah, everything's looking pretty good for this week. Might be able to get a payout this week, and yeah, gold would get me break even, so kind of glad I took indices. In the future, I'm not sure how I want to do it. I was kind of willing to risk like my whole day on these two trades. Like if they both lose at the same time, I'd be done. So it is what it is. But yeah, it's all for the day. $1,500. So just 2 trades, no over trading. So yeah, that's all for me. I'll see you guys tomorrow.